Welcome to U.S. Defense Line Channel. Ukrainian President Zelensky gives Russian soldiers one last chance. This is seen as the last chance for the Russian troops to avoid major losses. Moscow has lost more than 80,000 soldiers since the beginning of the war. Especially due to the increasing losses in recent days, remedies are running out on the Russian side. Even if thousands of soldiers were mobilized, the scale of the defeats is increasing due to the inadequacy of these soldiers. According to breaking news, Zelensky called on the remaining Russian soldiers and mercenaries in the Kherson region and other areas to the south to surrender, declaring that they only had one chance to save themselves from losses. He also stated that they had no place to hide and that they would be found one by one, giving the soldiers fear. It seems that the Russian soldiers in the region have only one chance, and that is to lose. Especially in recent days, it is known that Moscow has suffered losses due to serious inadequacies and wrong strategies. At the same time, the Ukrainian army continues its important successes and advances in the Kherson and bl0ws region. According to the statements, Russia left 3 troops to defend the Kherson region in its own way, but these troops may be used as bait. Ukrainian army is starting to take full control of the region, and they will not stop until there is not a single Russian soldier left. It has been reported that Ukrainian flags were flying in every region and central building that was taken. Ukraine continues to be successful in its various initiatives. Ukrainian troops neutralized significant numbers of Russian forces in many different regions. At the same time, it continues to destroy important equipment while neutralizing the Russian forces. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine confirmed the losses of the Russian Federation on the territory of Ukraine. This time Ukraine again hit the Russian headquarters in the key region Kherson. Losses of the Russian forces are becoming huge and irreparable. The headquarters of the Ukrainian Defense Forces, located around Chervony in the Kherson region, was also destroyed as a result of sensitive attacks. Russia suffered heavy losses in this region. As a result of this attack, 2 tanks and 4 trucks of Russia were destroyed. However, the most striking part of Ukraine's successful operation was that Ukraine neutralized over 30 Russian soldiers with this attack. Other Russian casualties were also confirmed. It was announced that a Mi-8 helicopter was destroyed near Dniprovsk on Russia's Zaporizhzhia front. In addition, a command post of Russian troops near Enhadar was damaged as a result of the attack. It is noteworthy that the losses of the Russian forces in this region are quite high. As a result of Ukrainian moves in this area, a Ka-52 helicopter was destroyed and 90 Russian soldiers were neutralized. Russia, which has lost serious military resources both in the air and on the ground, is also experiencing serious decreases in its offensive and defensive power. This turns the operations in the regions in favor of Ukraine. It is also known that each of these regions has very critical importance. Every move made in these regions will begin to determine the course of the war. Ukraine's attacks are not limited to these. It was announced that the planes of the Ukrainian forces carried out 5 attacks during the day on the areas where the Russian forces, their weapons and military equipment were concentrated. It was reported that Ukraine's rocket and artillery units also hit 2 ammunition storage points, a command post, 2 Russian forces' military equipment, as well as 3 other important Russian military installations. Thousands of Russian military resources appear to have been neutralized thanks to hundreds of shots fired by Ukrainian troops since the beginning of the war. While Ukraine is organizing attacks, Russia's attack efforts continue. Troops of the Russian Federation also carried out more than 10 attacks with 9 airstrikes, 3 missile attacks, and multiple launch rocket systems. Russia, whose number of attacks is decreasing, shows that it is experiencing a decrease in its air and ground operation power. In these critical days of war, each loss can cause bigger problems to erupt. Ukraine's success in rescuing its lands is increasing day by day. Ukrainian armed forces regained control of nearly 3,000 square kilometers of southern Ukraine in the last day. Natalia Humaniuk, head of the press center of the Pivden Operations Command, also emphasized that the Ukrainian soldiers were on approximately 260 square kilometers yesterday, and they took over 3,000 square kilometers of the area today. Humaniuk also stressed that Ukraine achieved this tenfold increase in just one day. Ukraine's initiatives are progressing successfully. According to the statements, Ukraine's only achievements are not limited to these. Ukraine found equipment abandoned by Russian forces. Ukrainian armed forces found tanks, artillery, and other military equipment of Russian troops in the liberated areas in the south. It is estimated that these military equipment had to be left because it could not be passed through the Dnipro River during the withdrawal of the Russian forces. This means that the military equipment of the Russian forces will be used against Russian soldiers. Humaniak announced that they will return the found and working weapons to the Russian troops as bullets. Thanks to such developments, the military resources of the Ukrainian troops are increasing while Russia's is decreasing. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine continues to share the losses of Russian troops on the territory of Ukraine. The most striking of the losses may be the total number of soldiers neutralized by the Russian forces. Number of neutralized Russian forces came to almost 80,000. In just one day, 710 soldiers of the Russian forces were neutralized. Losses of the Russian forces are not limited to this. Ukrainian troops destroyed 10 tanks, 1 helicopter, 6 unmanned aerial vehicles, 12 artillery systems, and 14 armored combat vehicles of the Russian forces in just one day. The biggest loss of Russian forces is among the statements he gave on the Bakhmut front. Losses of the Russian forces are increasing day by day. Losses in such critical areas also cause major defeats to become inevitable. Sanctions against Russia continue to increase. According to the statements, the annual G20 summit will be held in Indonesia this year. However, it is stated that Russian leader Putin is not wanted at this summit. It is known that many countries have supported Ukraine and imposed sanctions on Russia since the beginning of the war. Because of this war initiated by Russia, the reactions and sanctions against Russia from countries continue to increase. According to the statements, Putin is not asked to attend the G20 summit, which is held every year, even online. For these reasons, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia will take part in the summit to be held. With such developments, it seems that Russia is becoming more and more a lonely country. All these situations also greatly affect Moscow's economy. This is causing more and more conflicts within the country. Since Russia has to deal with such situations, both its problems increase and it has to face bigger problems. In the coming days, every move must be taken even more carefully. For this, every step to be taken should be chosen in line with strategic goals. If Ukraine can continue its effective moves, it will achieve greater success. In this way, the war will continue completely in favor of Ukraine, and the advantage will be completely in the hands of the Ukrainian troops. All kinds of moves must now be chosen more cautiously and in line with strategic goals. In time, the course of the war will be more clearly defined according to the steps to be taken by the countries and the decisions of the leaders. There is no margin of error for both countries. For this, it has been necessary for both sides to ensure an error-free progress. Otherwise, the losses may reach more serious dimensions. This will be very important in determining the fate of the war. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.